Hey, Washington Commanders fans. What I have to say today is difficult, but you need to hear it. The loss to the Dallas Cowboys 44-22 was one of the hardest things to watch in recent memory. While everyone is focused, rightfully so, on the disaster, I spent hours analyzing the details, and what I found was surprising. In the midst of that garbage, several franchise records were broken. Stick with me, because we need to know who, in the midst of the chaos, is still playing with pride. So don't forget to leave a like. It's just one click and helps me a lot. Let's contextualize the feeling. Losing is bad. Losing to the Cowboys is the worst feeling in the world for us, and losing like that by 22 points is almost rock bottom. The only thing that could make this scenario even bleaker happened. Our starting quarterback went down injured. Now we'll have to wait and see if Washington will be without Jayden Daniels next week. And amidst all the rubble of this defeat, I went searching for any sign of hope, and I found some. The first big beacon of hope, and for me the best player on the field, was Daron Payne. Our defensive tackle has been a force all year. I'll be honest, some of us weren't sure if he would thrive under the new management. We were even surprised when the coaches praised him so much in the offseason. But what he's doing on the field only proves that every word was true. He's playing at an absolute elite level, and he made history on Sunday. In Week 7, with the team already at risk of falling far behind, Payne ensured that the specialists' effort to trap Dallas on the 1-yard line was not in vain. He exploded and secured the safety, scoring our first 2 points. But here's the detail. It was the second safety of his career, which gives Daron Payne the record for the most safeties secured in the entire history of the Washington Commanders franchise. And he didn't stop there. In addition to making history, Payne also had 3 passes defended in the game. 3? That's the record for his career, and he deflected 2 of those passes on consecutive plays. He became only the 4th defensive lineman in the entire league to have so many passes deflected in a game this year. Our coaches say that Payne sets the tone, and on Sunday, he did everything he could to keep us alive, even when the rest of the team wasn't keeping up. Moving to the offensive side, while the unit as a whole was inconsistent, Jayden Daniels himself, before leaving, continued to find ways to produce. He used his legs and his arm and managed to throw for another touchdown. That pass to tight end. Zach Ertz marked the 5th consecutive game in which Daniels had at least 1 touchdown pass. It's a shame that this streak was interrupted by a hamstring injury, but the consistency was there. And with so many absentees, someone needed to show up. Rookie receiver Jalen Lane was called upon for a much larger workload. Remember, we were without Terry McLaurin, without Deebo Samuel, and without Noah Brown. Lane was thrown into the fire, and he responded with 60 receiving yards, the record for his career so far. That included a very important reception of over 25 yards. Amidst the despair, the rookie showed that we can count on him. The story doesn't stop there. On special teams, wide receiver Luke McCaffrey continues to make a difference and prove his worth. He accumulated an impressive 209 kick return yards in that match. That number is the 3rd highest in franchise history for a single game. That's huge. It's the kind of statistic that gets lost in the middle of an ugly defeat, but it shows the effort and ability of a player who never gives up on field position. Finally, Zach Ertz himself, in addition to scoring the touchdown, also entered the record books. He tied for the 2nd most touchdown receptions by a Commanders player against the Cowboys. And more than that, he surpassed the legendary Santana Moss with the 4th most receptions of all time against Dallas. It's an incredible feat for the veteran, showing his reliability. Now, let's be very clear. None of these statistics erase the 22-point defeat. They don't change the score. But they do something important. They point out which players, even in the worst possible situation, find ways to elevate their game and fight with pride. They show who is really putting in the effort. Perhaps these individual performances can become the catalysts we need for the future, starting against the Kansas City Chiefs. If you, like me, respect the effort of Daron Payne and the others who fought until the end, leave your like on this video. It's important to know who is with the team in the worst moments. Comment down below which of these records surprised you the most. And, of course, subscribe to the channel because next week's analysis against the Chiefs will be heavy. Now, what I have to say today is serious, and I ask you to pay close attention. The loss to the Dallas Cowboys was painful, a 44-22 that hurts our pride. But honestly, the score isn't the worst news of the day. What really matters, what defines the rest of our season, happened at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. I'm talking about our quarterback, Jayden Daniels. He left injured, and what seemed like just another scare now has the potential to end our chances in 2025. Stay with me until the end, because I have the details of the injury, what will happen in the next few hours, and why his history makes us so worried. Let's recap the exact play, because it was fast and scary. We were at the beginning of the second half, trying to get back into the game, when linebacker Shamar James got through our line and applied the strip sack on Daniels. The ball was fumbled, but all eyes turned to our quarterback on the ground. He immediately put his hand on the back of his left leg with visible pain. He was taken to the blue medical tent on the side of the field for immediate evaluation, And shortly after, he was seen running to the locker room. Although seeing Daniels running might seem like a good sign, the reality is that the team quickly diagnosed him with a hamstring injury. First, he was listed as questionable to return, but about 30 minutes later, he was officially ruled out for the remainder of the game. And that's why panic sets in, fan. This is not an isolated injury. Daniels had barely returned. We were celebrating his return after that 2-week absence due to a sprained knee. He's struggling to stay on his feet. Daniels' durability is becoming the big story of his career. In his rookie season, he played with fractured ribs, showing an absurd amount of grit. But in this second season, it has been a constant battle. He appeared on the injury report as early as week 2, with a wrist problem on the hand he uses to throw. He played that game, but then came the knee sprain that took him out of 2 full games. Now, he's barely returned, and he's already suffering a hamstring injury. It's a very worrying sequence. The most crucial information we have right now comes from J.P. Finley of NBC Sports. He has confirmed that the team has scheduled an MRI for this Monday. This is what will determine the exact severity of the injury. The fact that the team considers this MRI necessary is already a cause for great concern. They wouldn't do that if it was just a minor strain. They are looking for the degree of the strain, or worse. And we all know how hamstring injuries are treacherous and can drag on for weeks. If the MRI brings the bad news we fear, the team will have to turn to Marcus Mariota. When he entered the game today, the score was already 41-15, an impossible deficit to overcome. But we can't judge him for that. The truth is that Washington has one of the best and most capable backup quarterbacks in the league. Mariota is a professional and has already proven that he can lead this team. He's not Jayden Daniels, but it's not the end of the world. At least we have a reliable plan B. We can't forget that earlier this season when Daniels was injured, Mariota took over as starter for 2 games. He split those games, with a convincing win at home against the Raiders and a narrow loss by just 1 touchdown in Atlanta. In those 2 games, he completed almost 65% of his passes, threw for 3 touchdowns and only 1 interception. In addition, he used his legs, running for 60 yards and scoring another rushing touchdown. He can win games. The organization obviously hopes that tomorrow's MRI brings the best possible news. But either way, we have a capable quarterback. The problem is our schedule. We are now 3-4, and we have a daunting stretch ahead. We have a trip to Kansas City on Monday night, followed by back-to-back home games against the Seahawks and the Lions. This is the toughest part of our schedule, where we needed Daniels. There is no more room for error if the Commanders want to dream of the playoffs. We need wins now. In the next few days, we will probably find out whether it will be Jayden Daniels or Marcus Mariota who starts under the spotlight in Kansas City. The season is hanging on the result of an exam. If you're as tense as I am, waiting for this MRI news, the first thing I ask is, like this video as a sign of support for Daniels, and so that this news is good, and most importantly, I will bring you the MRI news as soon as it comes out. To not miss this crucial update, subscribe to the channel now and activate notifications. I want you to be honest in the comments. If Mariota has to be the starter for the next 3 weeks, what is your confidence level from 0 to 10? And my big question is, with this history of injuries, is Jayden Daniels' electrifying playing style sustainable in the long term? Or does the team need to change the way it uses him?